Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be tying the Zulu General. This is a bit of a mash-up between the Brigadier, a Bumble and the Blue Zulu. So let's get fired into it. So in the vise we've got a short shank 8 for eel, and we're going to start off with some sulphur coloured Glo Brite. So I'm just bringing that tag end over to secure. You can cut it away. And when you're happy with your tag, you can come in and whip finish. Okay, good stuff. At this point I would recommend protecting your tag and using some super glue, varnish, UV resin, whatever you want to do. And obviously if you're using a varnish, it's going to take a little bit of time to dry, so be prepared for that to be the case. I'm just using a little bit of super glue for speed of urgency at this point. Next I'm going to come in with some waxed black Uni 80. Just starting at the eye and just run this all the way down. To where it meets the tag. Waste piece away and good stuff. Up first we're going to grab some golden pheasant tippet that's been dyed red. You want a reasonable pinch of this, just hold the tip ends to keep them aligned and chop away from the stem. Alright folks, up next we have some golden pheasant tippet that's been dyed red. Just pinch the tips and cut away from the stem, and then come in and catch on the first black bar with a couple of turns. Doesn't need to be massive, but you definitely want enough that you can see it on the fly. And then secondly, I've got some dyed red golden pheasant crest, and I've got 2 stacked up here, and as always these will bend and do crazy things on you, so the advice is find the length that you want, which is about there, pinch the ends and hold in position where you want it to stay, and let the stem do whatever it wants to do. Okay, good stuff. I can come in and chop that away and then just tidy up anything that needs to be tidied up. Quite happy with how that's sitting just now. On the way back down we're going to catch in the small oval tinsel. I'm using the Uni French 12. Nice touch and turns on the way back down, just tidying up all the tail and fibres as well as catching this in. And run this right down until you get to where the body meets the tag at the back. Okay, up next we're going to grab some seal's fur or something similar, basically a buggy looking black dubbing fibre. Use whatever you like, use whatever you've got. and we're just going to dub this onto the thread. Fairly well dubbed on. You don't want this too heavy or too fluffy. You can twist as you come up. Key thing to remember at this point, folks, is leave enough room at this front end. You've got 3 different fibres coming on at the front of this fly, so don't leave yourself short. Okay, and once you're happy with that, you can stroke anything back that needs to come back and just tidy up. Just going to come in and chop some of these longer bits away. Okay, good stuff. Wax on the thread. And up first we've got a genetic red cock cape. We're just catching this in by the stem, nice and tight. Again, folks, what's really important here is to see how much room I've left at the front from where I'm starting this. I'm leaving plenty of space. So we're going to come round with at least 1 turn. This is quite a big fibre and that's deliberate. So I'm going to come round, try another one. And then a good couple of turns down the body. 2, 3, 4 turns down the body. Grab your oval tinsel. Nice and tight in at the back, lock that in place. You don't want that going anywhere. And then come up, finding a space in between the hackles and rib the fly. Don't worry too much right now if you catch the hackle, we'll sort that out in a minute. So that's 5 turns up the body. Stroke everything back. Then come in and cut away the wire, and also you can come in and cut away the tip of the hackle. Okay, good stuff. As I said, you might have caught in a few bits and pieces you didn't want to catch in. Just come in with your Velcro or dubbing brush. Let's also pull out a couple of the bits of dubbing, which isn't a negative thing either. But I'll just release anything that's been caught that you want to bring out of there. Okay, up next we've got the blue peacock neck going on. Gonna catch this in by the tip, which I've already prepared. I'll try to. Again, wax on the thread, folks, before you try and catch these in, just helps. A nice couple of turns in just to catch it. And you can fold that back. Cut it away if you need to cut it away, or if it's sitting quite nicely, which this is sitting okay, you can just leave it. Use your hackle pliers if you want at this point, folks, or use the stem as a handle depending on the length of the stem. I'm going to use my hackle plier because this stem is a little bit on the shorter side. And then just come round with the turns, stroking this back. I know you're probably thinking, whoa, that's a long fibre. It's meant to be long, don't worry about it. It's definitely meant to be a long fibre. And when you get to the point you're happy with, come in and catch that stem with a few turns. Stroke anything back that needs to come back. And then come in and chop that stem away. Try and get it in as nice and tight as you can. Bit of wax on the thread again. Wee fibre here that I don't like, so I'm going to get rid of it. Stroke everything back and just tidy up. Alright folks, and the last fibre I'm going to include at this point is a dyed blue Guinea fowl. I'm actually going to tie this in by the stem end, because I want more of these bigger fibres going on to the fly first. And we've got the room at the front at this point that we can do that. A little bit more wax on the thread just to hold it. Just come in with your hackle pliers and just stroke everything back as it comes round. Might not need the whole feather, you can decide for yourself. So that's probably enough at this point. So I'm just going to create a little bit of a space. And come up and come through. Just stroke everything back. Come in and take this tip section out. A little bit more wax on the thread. And then tidy up. And the last thing I'm going to do, as always, just before coming in with the whip finish, bit of super glue on the thread. Couple of turns, whip finish. There you have it, folks. The Zulu General. Really good fly to fish in choppier water. The amount of displacement that you get from these fibres coming through is superb. I always quite like to fish it as part of a team, as the top dropper fly in front of a point fly. It'll certainly draw in the fish, and they'll either take this or what's coming behind it. But yeah, give it a go. Let me know what you think. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Be good to hear from you. Cheers.